Okay, everybody, time for another Project Evil Sunz update, and everything's going pretty well. As you can see here, this is the completed Big Mech with KFF on bike, or specifically Jetbike here, all painted up in your favorite Evil Sunz colors. And here's the flame job I was talking about. Very ecstatic about how this guy came out. This guy just looks amazing. I just couldn't be happier with this guy. This guy is just easily one of my favorite models now. So yeah, that is my Evil Sunz Big Mech on bike with KFF. So I got him all painted up. And then I built the 7th truck, which is also going to be painted up as Evil Sunz with a lot of flames. And it's going to be quite a bit of work and quite a few decisions I had to go through here. Let's take the Big Mech away. And here it is. Ooh. So this is very loosely based off the 251 half track, German World War II 251 half track. And it's a bit longer than a stock truck. It's about an inch longer. I had to extend the back out a little bit and the front out a little bit. And one exhauster out the side. See some poster tack there holding the gunner together. Of course, the driver is not glued in either for painting. So the only thing at this point that I really had a struggle with is if I wanted to finish enclosing the cab, because I could like do piece here, an angled front here with 2 windows in it and other armor sides, because it would be like kind of like enclosed cockpit on the 251s. But I'm not sure I want to do that. I think it looks fine the way it is, and I'm not sure if those extra plastics would help or not. So if you think I should enclose the cab, so it basically would be a triangle here, a sloped front here with the big shooter sticking out, a window here for the driver, and another triangle armor here. Wouldn't be quite the same angle as the roll bars, probably is not quite, because I have to angle up around the controls here. So something like that. But I decided against that. So let's see what else do we do here. So, and I also decided against putting in an assault ram, because the 251s all had a back door. The early ones had these very complex angled doors, and the later ones had just a sloped armor in the back. I didn't do that mainly because it would just make it even longer, and I didn't want to do that. So, but it's got some nice features to it. Of course, the front opens up so you can get to the engine. I cut down the radiator thinking that I was going to make a smaller nose, but a smaller nose would just not be in proportion, so I had to make it bigger. So I might take this radiator out, put in a full-size one again, I've decided yet. And I've added some details to it. So push down on the gunner here. There it is. There are the electronics from that little dollar store toy in here. So this again is separate here. It's got a pin on it. I'll glue it down to the button once it's all painted. So here we have the fuel tank, which is the battery box. So in here, you can see this little screw right here. I can just unscrew this. Maybe I need a bigger screwdriver. There we go. And there's the batteries. This fuel tank is a perfect size to fit a pair of LR44 batteries. So I can do this. And then what I did was I just took some sprue, glued them to the top of plastic glue, of course, not super glue. Let that cure up, drilled it out, so the hole in the front is bigger than the hole in the back, so that I wouldn't have to thread the screw through the one side. I'm going to pick this back together here. But it just screws in, threads into the backside and holds the tank together. Thought this was a pretty darn good solution. So see what I did was I took the metal pieces, the spring and thing, they kind of stick out into the metal that came in the toy truck, was trimmed down, made to fit in there. The tabs stick out into the engine compartment. There's the wires in there coming off the battery box. You can see that very well. Probably not. The red wire right there. Obviously the control board is directly underneath this platform. This goes right into the switch. It's not perfect, but it works. And here we have the wiring underneath. So instead of trying to insulate everything, what I did was I drilled holes through this axle for each individual wire to keep them apart. I might cover them up with some hot glue before I prime it, but I'm not sure. And there's a little speaker. Right now it's just pinned in there. I'm thinking about maybe putting that in a different spot. I haven't decided yet. So there's the wiring underneath. It connects the LEDs and the battery box and the speaker to the circuit board, which I said, which is again screwed down using those same kind of screws. Came in the toy truck, drilled a little hole, and screwed the panel down to the plastic. So yeah, that is my next truck. And I said this gives me a lot of armor space. A lot of armor space to give it lots of a good flame job. In fact, so much room. I'm probably going to do a blended paint job, blended flame job. I mean, from starting with oranges in the front and then blend into the yellow on the sides. So it's going to be an entire flame job over the entire nose of the truck. So yeah, that is the SDKFZ 251 based truck. I still think the tracks turned out a little bit too big for the model overall, but I'm still pretty darn happy with it, especially that battery box fuel tank. I think that's just I think that's really just awesome. Lots of open room in the back here. Like I said, and again, the only reason I didn't put the rear armor on is because I didn't want it to stick out anymore. And just being flat wouldn't look very good, I don't think. So that is the truck, and then there's one more thing I'm going to be working on. And that's this. This is an old battle wagon that I picked up at my friendly local game store. Looking, looks just like this. This is the way I bought it, except for it had the ram on it, which I broke off. And it's just kind of been like this, and I really didn't have a purpose for it or direction for it. Now I do, because it's just something to get repainted as Evil Sunz. So it will be an Evil Sunz battle wagon, which will be great for holding Ludas or whatever. Yeah. So that's where we're at. So I need to prime and paint these two vehicles here, and then we'll be at a very good spot at our project Evil Sunz. Actually, we'll probably be done with all the current plans for the project Evil Sunz. This truck is actually bigger than the battle wagon. It just shows you how undersized the battle wagon kit is. So again, make a comment below if you think I should enclose the cab or leave it like it is. And again, I'm going to get a def roller kit for this and paint this up Evil Sunz, which basically just, I'm not going to try and take this old paint off. It's not thick enough on there to worry about in the least. So it's even barely even coats the black primer underneath. So it's just going to be painted entirely lead belcher, and then given the red and yellow paint jobs. This is going to get painted up serious flame job on this guy here. And that will finish up my project Evil Sunz. That'll put me right close to 1,850 points of Evil Sunz. Oh, I still gotta paint the flyer too. I might do that at the same time as the other ones, I don't know. So anyway, that's it for this video. I've kind of rambled on long enough. Once again, I couldn't be happier with this truck. I think it just looks great, even if it's not completely perfect. But anyway, thanks for watching.